All right, Jah children, I pray all of you are well. I greet you in the name of Jehovah our Creator and Jesus Christ of Nazareth our King. I am Lily of the Valley, and this lesson is about especially to the Maroons who we are remote areas, right? So we're gonna have to just retrain our children to log or to salvage the timber. You know, before chainsaw, power saw, and all those things came about, or for parents built their own houses, their own coffins, their own everything. We now have to go back to that kind of stuff. You got to teach the younger ones how to be loggers using the technology that we know that didn't rely on chainsaw, power saw. So all those trees like the lignum vitae, you see this one? And those expensive trees, mahogany, cedar, and everything what we have on Maroon Country, salvage all of that timber for use for rebuild the houses because timber ain't gonna be cheap. So you have the cockpit country heavily damaged and all of those areas in Anova, St. James, the cockpit country where we live. I don't live on the Leeward side, but I do have Maroon relatives who live down there in St. James and St. Elizabeth and all those areas. I live on the Windwards side, which is up in the Blue Mountains, Portland, Hector's River, Nanny area. We grew up being so remote and so cut off from the whole world that we had to learn to do things ourselves. Maroon Country, you gotta have your loggers again, your lumberjacks. Train the children to be lumberjacks. Have your water filters. You got a ton of water up there. No water truck not supposed to I can drop no water go no. You understand? Learn how to filter the water. Learn how to boil it. And for the trees that are falling, use the loggers. The ones who know how to use the saw by hand with one person and two end of the wood, and you log the trees like that and you dry them or whatever you do to preserve them to rebuild. Okay? We not pretend like we just born today. Go back to the skills where our forefathers teach we. Okay, how to survive up in them mountains there for years and nobody up except God Almighty no know so we there. What happened to you? So this is the cockpit country. It's a protected area, and a lot of the damages happened up there in a compound and other places in the Leewards where like Trelawney Town, Maroons, Cudgel Town, St. James, all of them places, the Manchester, St. Anne, Hanover, St. Elizabeth got a lot of damage. So you have a lot of damaged trees that you can rescue to use for the rebuilding process. And the rebuilding process means you're going to rebuild in holiness and righteousness, or just expect to be constantly rebuilding from disasters, because sin is why our country is damaged. Righteousness exalted a nation. Be a righteous, holy area for uno and uno picnic them. All right? So, shalom.